since that incident from a quarter of a century ago, Mercedes-Benz has stayed away from Le Mans. However, there was no loss of life following that sensational involuntary flyby stunt. A complete opposite of the 1955 disaster, when over 80 people were killed and 120 injured, the 1999 mishap was the result of poor engineering and awful aerodynamics. At extremely high speeds on the long straights at the Le Mans Circuit de la Sarthe, the Mercedes CLR tended to build up air pressure under its nose, effectively pushing the whole car away from the ground, the downforce exerted by the body's aerodynamic elements. A perfect stone combination of long overhangs and short wheelbase plotted against the racer's stability. There were 3 crashes, all 3 seeing the Mercedes CLR car go end over end in midair. The first 2 were not captured by any video cameras. Still, the third is one of the motorsport's most easily recognizable breathtaking moments. Play the video below and see it again. I'm fairly certain you've seen it at least once before. And it was all down to bad aerodynamics. Ironically, aerodynamics allowed Mercedes-Benz to be superfast at Le Mans in 1955, with an innovative air brake placed behind the driver. The Silver Arrows have skipped Le Mans since 1999, but that hasn't stopped motorsport fans from dreaming of a glorious return, and the AMG 1 sounded like a probable candidate for the comeback. Sadly, that fantasy didn't happen, and the next best thing left for racing enthusiasts is to take it to the digital neverland, where pixels and hexadecimal algorithms join forces to give the imagination a visual shape. That's where we ran across the cyber prophet Christopher Giroux, a senior exterior automotive designer for Ford Motor Company and full-time car visualist with a knack for futuristic concepts. Whenever he's not busy drawing Ford bodies, he roams the realms of virtual reality, taming shapes and putting physics in its place, and in imaginary car forms. One of his most intriguing projects of the binary wizard, social media call sign Chris13, is the Mercedes EQR 300, a full-blown race car destined to dominate Le Mans, if it were to land into metal, carbon, or any other space tech materials that the Germans could contrive. Just like the SLR 300 from 7 decades ago, the EQR 300 relies on air brakes to keep the car with the wheels on the ground. But, unlike the Intrados aero panel that raised behind the pilot to slow the vehicle down, the third Millennium land missile has scales that tousle from the bodywork and disrupt the airstream, pulling the reins on the imagined racer. The scaly array on the front hood, the rear wing, and the wheel half covers flip up, like butterfly valves, when the pilot slams the pedal. And yes, there are air brakes on the wheels, almost. Take a look at the gallery and see how the tiny hexagonal active aerodynamic elements work. The wheels are partially obstructed by half-circle discs on which the brake scales sit. The EQR 300 is an electric hypercar, judging by the body's splendid, continuously fluid shape, uninterrupted by any air inlets to keep internal combustion burning. Also, the complete absence of exhaust pipes hints at battery-only muscle for this slipstreaming EQR 300 proposal. Lastly, we can all agree that E in its EQR moniker doesn't stand for ethanol. The car bears the AMG Performance Seal of Approval decals on the sides, any hopes for the future, and a strong resemblance to the Aston Martin Valkyrie, with air tunnels going through the body to let high-pressure air escape. In an eerie nod to the AMG 1 hypercar, the EQR 300 is covered in Mercedes-Benz logos on the front clip, sides, and stabilizing wing. However, contrary to the purely aesthetical purpose of the AMG 1 livery, the Giroux-crafted virtuality is wearing the TriStars with a practical goal in hindsight, providing stopping power. The minute hexagons described by the grouping of the Mercedes emblems are actually the air brake scales, and this is probably the closest any car concept ever got to mimicking the perfection of the animal kingdom. Like a predatory bird rumples its quills and feathers to navigate its low-density medium, the EQR 300 ruffles up when it closes for an apex. Mercedes-Benz might have hit the skip button when the Le Mans track came up on the competitional calendar playlist. Still, we should remember that Ferrari took its time before coming back to the French circuit last year. After making a previous appearance at the Temple of Endurance in 1973, the prancing horse struck back in 2023, taking the overall win. Who's to say the Germans don't have a secret plan to conquer France yet again?